Have you ever tried to connect two Docker containers, only to find yourself scratching your head in confusion? If that's you, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into how one Docker container can call another. And trust me, it's easier than you think. I totally get it. It can be really frustrating when everything works perfectly on your local machine. But once you Dockerize your applications, things start to get complicated. You're not alone in this struggle. Many developers face the same challenge. Let's break down the specific situation we're dealing with. You have two Docker containers. One is a web API, and the other is a console application that calls this web API. The console application works fine when running locally, but you're unsure how to make the Dockerized API's URL accessible to the Dockerized console application. Sound familiar? Let's figure this out together. So what's the issue here? When you Dockerize your applications, they run in isolated environments. This means that they need to communicate over a network, and you need to ensure that the API's URL is correctly configured for the console application to access it. And stick around. I have a great tip at the end that will make your Docker networking even smoother. To enable the Dockerized console application to call the Dockerized web API, the user should first ensure that both containers are on the same Docker network. This allows them to communicate with each other using container names as host names. Next, the user should modify the console application to use the container name of the web API as the base URL. This is crucial because the console application will need to reference the web API by its container name instead of localhost. After updating the API URL, the user should build and run the console application container again. This ensures that the changes take effect and the application can now reach the web API. Finally, the user can test the setup by checking the logs of the console application container. This will help confirm whether it successfully calls the web API and receives the expected responses. Fun fact: did you know that Docker was originally developed to help developers manage their applications in a more efficient way? Now it's a game changer for deploying software. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. One alternative solution is to use Docker Compose. This allows you to create a configuration file called dockercompose.yml. In this file, you can define your services like a web API and a database. To run everything, simply use the command docker compose up. Here's that tip I promised. Always use Docker Compose for managing multi-container applications. It simplifies the process and makes networking between containers a breeze. And there you have it. You should now be able to connect your Docker containers seamlessly. Remember, networking is key in Docker. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button for more tips, and don't forget to check out our next video on Docker best practices.